Hi, I'm Geoff Cox. The performance of The Price of Land that you're about to see was recorded on the 27th of February 2020 at Penrith Players Theatre as part of our first North of England tour. I wrote The Price of Land in 2018 as a response to the Lake District National Park being awarded UNESCO World Heritage status. Now that award was accompanied by a 217-page dossier, and there is very little mention in that dossier, other than the occasional reference to farmers, of the people whose working lives were instrumental in creating the very landscapes that the award was meant to recognise. So this is for the drovers, the dry stone wallers, the quarry workers, the miners, the forest workers, and all of the other trades who have paid the price of land for the past 500 years.
The fells are a stage, dressed in late autumn shades. The copper of dying bracken tipped with morning frost. Vivid streaks spill down fell sides, spoil of the hearths of the mineral men. Held still, that moment before the snow begins to fall. Each open working tells a tale full of dreams and riches. Here, men follow rich and twisting seams deep into the land. Here, prospectors wander like curious insects, exploring lonely dales, bound to their ambitions, fragile as a hill-bound mist. Combing the hills, they seek the becks where colour shows bright. These are the promise veins that writhe and dive, seams that run wide through grey stone rakes. Blood red, sea blue, or tarn's edge green. In these lonely combes, deep stopes drive, 1,000-foot level from sere fell sides. Little more than shoulder width, coffin-carved, airless shafts, candle-lit warrens of grey-faced men.
Martin Kep, copper miner, Newlands near Keswick, 1568. Sleeveless leather jerkin, moleskin breeches, knee pads.
From the outthrust bones of a lad ahead, a miner unfolds in slow and spine-cracked sway, stamps to waken leaden legs, draws greedily on winter-cold air. He throws down a pick, coughs, hawks, spits, blinking his path through dead bracken stands, to plunge his head in an ice-rimed beck, lies back to stare at a winter-white sky. His deep chest heaves out frosted clouds. Stone-scarred knuckles brush yellowed grass. His eyelids heavy with stone-dust sleep. Still the sky and mute, clouded, uncaring. But his rest is short. Time over ground means wages lost, and he knows hunger's the price if oars don't rise. With a muttered curse and a last skyward glance, he returns to tallow, smoke, darkness.
They posted a bill in the marketplace and shoulder to shoulder we read, and oh, how we dreamed. Miners all for England's shores, come and dig for the English Queen. Leave the hard lands of Augsburg, rich seams, deep veins, and ready gold. Sell your skills in a brave new land. We dreamed of a new life in a different land, yet a land that seemed to offer us all that we could want. We knew that the journey serve would be hard, for this was the worst time of year to travel, and a cold sea lay between us and England. But we were mountain lads, miners every one, and never scared of trial nor challenge. I can still hear our laughter, how we joked over different foods, the sound of strange voices, pay packets in a different coin, and the magic that gold will weave when it falls from a working man's hand onto a tavern bar, or yet a kitchen table. So, I answered the call of adventure, for that is the blood that flows vital through a young man's veins. What did I find when I came here to Cumberland? Hard times, I can tell you, friend. Oh, the work was fair, the seams were rich, and the wages true to the promises made. Aye, we fulfilled our part of the bargain. We never failed to fill the carts as the managers, nor yet the pockets of the owners. But I speak for all of us when I say that we were treated not as ones who brought prosperity for all, in fair exchange for our mining trade, but as thieves who creep into an open house to steal that which is held as precious. The common pickmen envied our wages. Their lords envied our knowledge and skill, until ordinary townsfolk were transformed into a vicious, snarling mob. And our good friend, Leonard Stoltz, an honest miner, he died at the end of a lynching rope. It was clear we could not. So we were forced to live apart, eat apart, drink apart. I feel, we have a word for this. It's Heimweh. This is how I feel now. Heimweh. Home sore.
At the mouth of a slate mine, Jenny Outerthwaite. Leather boots, coarse skirt, second best shirt.
Looking out over the village of Coniston, 1837. Slate dust, dry throat, sun slant afternoon, hammer weight heavy in a sweat slick hand, a chisel that twists with the strike, cold stone that cleaves to the grain. 14-year-old, and right with sweat and the sour taste of a childhood gone too soon. A life counted off in Sundays, Christmas home, and the summer promise of a home Dale show. It's hard days, long days, the ring of steel on stone, sparks in the winter twilight, feet and hands numb pain dull, deft fingers of creeping chill, stealing pockets of warmth from a shawl that's made from a sack.
Maybe I'm lucky. Lucky to work as my father did. I never thought they'd let me take his job when they brought him home after the rockfall. There's not another girl working here. I'm bringing home a wage to me mum and the other bairns. We wouldn't eat without it. So I can't afford to answer back when the foreman gives me other tasks, or asks me for a flash or a favour. They say our slate is quality green, but to me it's none but dark. Dark as the depths of a winter tarn. Dark as the spark in a terrier's eye. Dark as Weatherlam's sullen rise. Dark as the foreman's boots. I'm growing into the slate splitting life. I'm learning to watch me hands and me eyes, for it only takes a moment. One wayward strike or a grain that doesn't quite run true, and that's the end of it. I'm young yet. There's much to learn, so I keep my head down on weekdays and hope that the sun shines after church on Sundays. Then I can run out with our bairns. Smile when the town lads watch me.
Aye. "1793. The main drovers rode through Westmoreland. They were like the Wild West.
Every week they came with their cattle and their big dogs. And no, they weren't corgis either.
Evening sun licks the back of 300 head of black Irish, grazing in dry stone ease. A hillscape of rounded shoulders, echoing contours that fold inwards, enclosing evening in fly-drone stillness. An open land bowl, the air warm and thick as fresh-drawn milk. Barefoot drovers rest easy at the closing of yet another day. Sun-verged walls, long shadowed in dusk-line promises. Sinuous pools of the night as yet to come. Saddle-free ponies nuzzle at a flowered verge. Slow grazing, heads down, tail flick ease. Grateful swallows chase insect plenty for hungry nests in farmyard eaves. The warm leather scents from drying tack in shaded piles and blanket beds. Pipe smoke drifts and lingers, hanging to foil the heat-mazed flies. Knitting needles flash and wind through the conversational murmur, catching light in woolen strands, shaping stories of the day and crafting bonds of easy friendship. For these are the blessed times. Gathered laughing, each with crowdy bowl, a strong beast's blood mixed with fresh oats, a well-found camp, where cattle browse in evening contentment, and the topsman smiles at a day well done. Maggie Little, huge coat, wide-brimmed hat, and scandling Cumberland trousers.
I've an old briar pipe that I carved myself from a hedge up and a daft cheap dog that took to my heels on a market last May-day. I've never been fast to bide a place long, so droving's the way of my life. I've never thought to croft, nor settle, nor wed, for being tethered's the cause of all strife. What more would I need than 3 Scots pines standing tall over sheltered dale, on the well-walked road from the Falkirk Tryst to Thirsk and the Yorkshire Sales, where the good topsman who knows the ways that keep us shy of the towns, 12 mile a day behind a well-found herd, and good fodder when we settle them down. Aye, there's ponies I've had that were better than this, and dogs that were better with kine, but these ones will serve until better come round, and practice at biding my time. I am used to the looks that I get from town girls as I ride at the back of the drove, so I give them a smile and a wink of my eye, then it's back to the road that I love. Aye, there's many who say it's no job for a lass, and homes where the women should bide. But the lads admit I'm as strong and as fit as any bloke on the droves that I ride. I am never found wanting when the castle have need, nor stood up in a market-place fight. It's the job that I chose, and I'll argue the toss with any that says I've no right. So we'll drive them tomorrow and the day after that, and I'll treat every day like my last. Show kindness to kindness, and love where you find it, in the arms of a lad or a lass. Dog!
1570. John Grisdale, pack horseman, carrying Pete from Greystoke to Borrowdale, and of a Sunday, lay preacher.
Boots, breeches, calico shirt.
It's Saturday, 4 in the morning.
Nine ponies, nose to tail, take solid form from grey shade darkness, cresting the rise, breaking the pink horizon. First light. At the call, the ponies pause, gathered where the slope eases, a shroud of clouded breath, giving shape to leather creaks and ringing shoes. Then, off in rippling sequin, short pep set and pannier sway, swiftly settling to the rhythm of the causeyed way, down into still darkness, past dew grazing sheep, down into a different dale. Then he sees it. A valley drowned in a rose-pink cloud, lapped and dimpled with waves of a deeper crimson. Its shores lap from fell to fell. An unearthly lake has upended the door. The man stops, with hand to head and boot nail grate, staring down at the eerie sight, wondering at the shadows on top of the clouds of one man and 9 ponies thrown out by the low sun to become the size of giants. He mutters a brief prayer, reaches for steadying drink.
This cannot be natural.
The smell carries the truth.
This is not cloud, but smoke.
The smoke of valley fires, at first fragrant with wood and peat, familiar scents of hearth and home. But as he descends, he meets the stench, the choking, infernal stink of poor coal and sulphur. He shakes his head to rid himself of clinging reek, but his eyes still stream as he stumbles on the once familiar path. The waking town seethes in a cauldron of foul airs and yellow mists. It's Sunday, 6 p.m, Greystoke Chapel.
Sisters and brethren, hear my words. Once Borrowdale was a fair and verdant valley, filled with birdsong and the bounties of all nature. I walked with my children through sunlit glades, our feet hushed with the softest grasses, or the sweet scent needles of summer pines.
Praise be to God.
I carried my daughter, and she laughed at the sun sparkling on the living lake, seen through cooling groves of wondrous trees. My ponies, once unburdened, would graze easy in the welcome shade of lakeside pastures before harnessed home to evening stables. A town and a dale, renowned for honest men that spoke sense and truth with simple words. A place that proudly faced the world with a greeting from every doorstep in streets that echoed with the silence of contentment.
Thank you, Heavenly Father.
Listen, for this is the true conceit of man. There they had built their homes in paradise. Yet they have turned these lands, once a place where angels walked, into a wasteland, a gift to some idol that asks that faith be measured in coin.
We rebuke them.
Their stock grazed rich in ripe spring fields, and strong they went to summer fells. Come market days and gathering times, neighbours met and children played, happy in the knowledge that their lives were hard, yet blessed by every gift of nature.
Thank you, Father.
And then came the first of the mineral men, with pockets full and conscience empty. The future they preached lay not upon the fair lands that were the gift of God, but below the earth, in the secret places, known only to their surveyors and speculators, grim off-comers, and careless of the lives of God-fearing folk. Like ants, they crawled on common land and scarred the fells with iron claws and carried their oars to the heathen hearths. Yet still, this did not satisfy the needs of those mineral men. Their voices dripped with the honey of temptation. And the people of Borrowdale were swayed by those words. They offered up a fool's paradise, and they ran to worship in the halls of Mammon.
Have mercy on them.
Aye, God has turned his back on the valley of Borrowdale. No angel would taste that terrible air. Their children now wander, grey-faced and tearful, whilst their parents toil to feed the flames. Aye, and our fragrant peat, once prized as sweet in farmhouse hearths, they crave in ever greater loads to feed the belching furnace jaws that drives the sulphur from their oars.
Mercy on them.
I have mercy on them. And yet, it is true. We see our wealth increase as our diggings and our stables grow. Well, our children never want for shoes nor food. So, sisters and brethren, think ye what man has set in train? Ask your conscience this tonight. Are the fine clothes that ye wear and the jewels that adorn them bought by the desolation of others who see little but hard toil and foul airs? And I know full well that tomorrow I shall be back at work, digging peat and harnessing my ponies. Dyer, we shall all be back at work, digging peat and harnessing our ponies.
Frank Tyrrell, working as a jobbing waller, Eskdale, 1928.
Hard boots, corduroy trousers, old battle dress jacket.
With a practised eye, he scans the heap, then lifts the stone that's nearest fit. He spins it in a dust-white hand, then trims the edge with hammer tap. No hesitation, nor second look. He sets the stone so it binds the course, then nods as he looks back down his wall. It's a craftsman's job, a season's work. He sees the patchwork dale of summer fields, coloured now with meadow flowers. The sheep away on higher fells leave silence, thick and warm as felt. A time for walls to be repaired and winter flood-spill ditches cleared, while swallows hawk through airing barns and young are raised while times are good. He takes a break from picking stones to trace the sound of hammer strikes. The valley chimes with working men as every farm its boundaries tend. Ancient walls to be restored and gates fresh hung from straightened stoops. Field walls first, intakes next, so all's in shape for gather time.
When the papers came, I knew that the time had come to leave the land. I could have said that the farm needed me more, but I thought that the greater need lay in the fields of France, and that's where the uniform took me. For all of us, it was a time of learning to recover the animal that we discovered sleeps uneasily in every soul. I learned that in some men, the beast is all teeth and anger, but others carry something unspeakable, prowling, large-eyed and vicious in the night. Me, I learned of my own inadequacies, caused me to cower and hide. My beast was timorous, a groundling that burrowed in waking dreams of open fells, an earth that is free of the broken parts of men. When I returned to my own home dale, well, that was a time of estrangement. The open skies and quiet lanes. The war, not a memory, but something put aside, like a hard winter or a thin harvest. The other farmers who had left the dale were long returned to dances and speeches and flags, now put away, whilst I lay quiet in curtained rooms, afraid of everything. The long train journey home through lowland fields, that was a shocking noise. Avoiding eyes. How many hours did I spend pretending to sleep? In the long march home through twilight lanes that grew more familiar as I became more lost. I slept uneasy in a hedgerow. My wife blinked when I came back into the farmyard. She made to speak. And she turned and moved to make tea. Looking round, I could see that now had changed. The room was just the same. A bit more dust and Sunday china. But it's still the room where we'd argued about me going. I hung my cap and jacket in the hall, sat at the table, and listened to the wall clock tick. I tried to pick up on what needed doing, farm jobs I'd known since I was a lad. But she found her own way of doing things, and I soon saw sense in saying out. A month later she was gone. Back home to her family. I never bothered to light a lamp. Drank tea in the dark. Nobody called, and that suited. But the horrors never left. Tenancy went soon after. Keys laid on the kitchen table, then across the yard to the gate where the dogs were tied. I couldn't pull trigger for fear of noise. Then to a cottage, high in the dales, quiet in winter's shadow, and first to catch the rain, though sometimes warmed gold by summer ghosts. Folks said a fine place to start again, maybe a small flock. But I'd sworn to myself that never again, and I meant it, though it never got said, would I hold in my hands the cares of a farm, nor the life of any living thing. So I picked up a hammer and I took to the walls. That's where I've worked ever since. These days are quiet. It's just me. Sometimes larks. Corncrakes in the dale, and the movement of sheep to mark the passing year. And past the time when a buzzer's scream would have me diving from the first shell of the next barrage. Though the pattern of dawn light on valley walls will still set off the shakes. Memories of barbed wire and trench lines. I see few people, but I've seen the heads that shake in kitchen windows. And sometimes a pie's left under a slate when night brings me home. The vicar called once. His God had never known the truth of what man can do. I've no need of a clock to mark my time. String line and level will be the measure of my seasons. Next stone, next wall, next night of men crying in the dark as the standing pools of their own piss.
Satterthwaite Parish School, 1895.
Warm and worn with ink-blot hands, children spill across a sunlit yard. Voices released from schoolroom silence chime like linnets in summer trees. 2 gates, 2 groups for the homebound walk. Farm-bred this way, forest folk that. Not too fast, for chores are waiting, and not too slow, there'll be hard words said. Of the forest folk, there's 2 together, brother and sister. Her the younger, she's trying to take her brother's hand, as she's been told. He's not so keen. Well, he needs that hand for stick or rock or food, should any come his way. Their woodland hut and working coop, an hour's walk through forest rides. Out through the gate, and what's this waiting? A man and a horse, and a welcome sight. A cry of delight, and they're off and running. The boy to the man, and the girl to the horse. Dad sweeps them up to the broad, warm back, and leads them off through singing woods. She runs her fingers through matted mane, and the lad sits proud in his father's hat. Up through the trees, to a smoke-hung clearing, where mother's waiting by crackling fire. Across to bread and schoolroom stories, whilst dad's away for another load. An hour to dinner, and there's work needs fettling, each with tasks that's theirs to do. Oak barks turned and brashings gathered, kindling chopped and stacked by fire. The tops are loud with evening birds as smoke drifts up from charcoal stack.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
Bowls well scraped, bellies full. Dad lights his pipe, settles down, hums along as Mum sings softly. And the kids join in on the bits they know. Mary Palmer, coppicer and charcoal maker, wearing, well, this.
They say the lass will go into service, and the lad will just end up doing the charcoal. But we've talked this through, and we're clear. We're righteous about the kids being taught. For learning is key to their future. Without it, they'll come to nought. We could send them to a paid school in Hawkshead, see them once a week. But then we've to pay for schooling, with lodgings and all. With the little that we make from charcoal and a bit on the side from oak bark. The thought of us paying for schooling, you might as well say pigs fly. We're only paid once yearly for the oak bark that the kids collect. And that just sees us through until spring. And yes, there's times when there's plenty to live on, but there's times when the pickings are. There's times when there's nothing. Above all, we don't want the silence that would fall if the kids weren't here. It's them that brings life to us living up here in the forest, alone. They stay with us here when the oak bark peeling, late April to June. And I love that we're always together. We do worry that they're not being schooled. It's hard sending them off of a morning because it's a long walk. They seem very young. That's the life we lead. There's nothing that can be done about it. When we're moving for a new coop that's next to be cut, we're to think of the ways it'll take them to school, show them the route. It's not that hard of a summer. But winter means cold and dark, and we do worry that they might come to some harm. I suppose it's as God intended. If young shoots are to become fine trees, there's one thing I know for certain. All our hardships, getting them kids learned, they'll be for good. If those kids grow up to be better and make more of their lives than we ever had the chance to. Thank you. Sean McGinley, Levi, 501s, polo shirt, links. Rolling home through the late dark first pink promise of a West Coast morning. Open to the soft breath of the Irish Sea, a discarded takeaway box slides and tumbles, a rattling progress through pre-dawn silence. Egremont sleeps. Above Sellafield, the sky lightens, weakening the sodium glow of arc lights, until only the winking red of aircraft warning lights hover in the non-space between chimneys and a new day. The mast-top lights of returning trawlers flash in curt response, nose down to meet the tides and the Whitehaven markets. A fisherman glances out at an angular, awkward horizon. This skyline his father never knew. Reflecting on the days when church towers and pierhead lights were what guided the fishing boats home.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. He shouldn't be driving after a night out in Whitehaven. But the coppers are all fighting the Irish lads. And I see nobody on the roads after 3 in the morning. Bloody love this car park. I'll come here for a couple of hours most Saturday nights. Sometimes on my own. Maybe with a lass. Now my ma works the early shift from 4:30. So give her a chance to get clear of the house before I get home. bloody love it here. Looking down on the lights. You know, even when the weather's shite, still lights up the clouds. I always know which way home is by that glow in the sky. And close up, it just gets better. You know, I'm working Magnox, 8 to 5 nights. And when it's all lit up, it's beautiful. And when the rain slants down, it all lights up like a disco. It's really cool. You know, I've heard some folks say that it's ugly. That it spoils the county, being so close to the lakes like. That's a load of crap. I've been to the lakes a few times, camping with my mates, you know, Windermere, Ullswater, Keswick, but I never fancied it much. You know, I don't think I've liked it ever since I was at school. And they made us learn a poem about the Armada. And the last line of it was something like, and the red lights of Skidder warned the burghers of Carlisle. Only I said the buggers of Carlisle and they got detention. Never liked it since then. Aye, they got some decent pubs. But the rest is all water and grass and loads of bloody sheep. Here, then sheepdog or something, mind you, rounding up the sheep. Not like the dogs the lads have round here. God, if you were born with a little dick, get yourself a bigger dog, as they say. What's the point of all them empty hills? It's just grass. I mean, how many jobs does that generate? 2 shepherds and a grumpy twat in a campsite. Not like round here. 20,000 jobs around here, they reckon. All folks spending money in shops and takeaways and pubs. I reckon they take more cash over the bar at the Fat Lamb of a Friday night than they do in the whole of bloody Keswick. And it's better crack and all. On some of them lakes pubs, you can wait forever for a decent song or a pair of legs or a proper stand-up fight, yeah. Now she come down here and take a look at the plant. It's lovely. It's like one of my ma's glass ornaments. All shiny and sitting there proud. The only difference is my ma's ornaments are useless. Whereas we're bringing all that good money into the area. Here. There was this bloke used to come down to the main gates every day, every morning. Used to watch him as we were queuing to get in. He had one of them signs saying we should get shut down. But he always used to face the road. I never once saw him look back at the plant. I wound my window down one morning, offered him some free plutonium samples on the quiet line. He didn't see the joke. They should run bus trips down here to see this place. Yeah. Throwing a bit of bait at the Crown, a few pints at the Fat Lamb. Oh, they'd be on to a surefire winner right enough. I mean, it's the best thing to see in Cumbria, by a long chalk. See, that's the trouble with folk. They don't take time to look proper.
Eden Valley, 2001.
It was a creeping death. Morning after morning, making a cup of tea, listening to Radio Cumbria, and the advancing list of farms that had been taken out. Listening out for friends and farms you knew, and thinking who their neighbours were, and how much closer it were getting to your gate. I won't say I didn't pray. I won't say I didn't wish it on others. If only we could be passed over. Not proud of that. But I'll not be the only one. The time for praying is past. I know that when I watched them driving out the gates, that what they were carrying with them were more than the dead remnants of the herd. The future went with them. The cruel thing was leaving them lying in the paddock for 4 days. Said they didn't have enough trucks, that everybody had carcasses that needed shifting. But it didn't stop the way the neighbours saw it. Looking over the wall and seeing them there, lying like that, all legs and lolling tongues and holes in their heads. And the army coming by every day to check that I wasn't moving any cattle. O'Connor said, "They're all fucking dead!" And what did they leave when they finally drove through the gates? Sweet stink of disinfectant. The noise of water trickling from newly washed sheds. Almost silent. I caught myself walking to the milking room right on time. Old habits die hard. Because what's a farmer amount to when he's got nothing to farm? Can't go into town. Because folk look at you strange, like as if you're deliberately spreading the disease by being out and about like that. So shut the door. Don't want to know. I sat in front of the fire last night. Looked through the old farm records. We've had hard times before, but no like this. Or we're going to burn the herd books. But looking back at where the cattle have been over the years, I got to thinking that somewhere the bloodline lives on. Aye, somewhere out there the blood lives on. I'm drawn to the older bits of the farm. The bits my father would have known before the new sheds were built. I can sit here in his old chair and remember watching my granddad milking. He's still looking up. But I can't think of the words he would have said to me now.
Rain grips tenuously to the coarse edges of a Lakeland barn. Moss-choked gutters and martins' nests tight wedded to broken eaves. Roundels of lichen and slate stone tales told in a dialect of stock and season, grass, winters, and the meeting of walls. High doors, hard shut against the wind. A dozen colours of peeling paint and tangles of castwell caught unwary on nail-head snags, and the rusted bones of long-gone latches. Inside, deep peace. The dark and hay-smell gloom rich with farm dust and swallow shit. Sack-shroud relics of past investment. The machinery that drove long-founded dreams of easier work and higher yields. Grain-twisted crooks, hung with brass-pecked leather, the sloughed skins of tack and harness, now hardened into dark, stark sculpture. Cuttings from old gazettes, the brown, faded faces of prize cattle, and proud men staring long dead eyes fixed on antique lenses. Tattered rosettes, pinned along a shippen bar, colour still bright under deep layered dust. Pride and status from local shows, vestigial memories of bloodline prestige and success in the sales ring, all dated a century past. An old kitchen chair, cast on its side, under a steady drip in the blue entanglement of taut farmyard rope. Battered work boots, the black tongue, and the purple face of a newly hanged man.
A lay-by on the top road, between a seeping pile of road salt and a rusting harrow, juggling 2 phones, a sandwich, a list of jobs, and an inconsistent signal. Radio 6 drifts out through an open window, mixed with the steam from a pottery mug balanced on the dashboard. A grinning blue sheep, bright against the grey-green panorama of Easter Fells. Michelle Spearman, Upland Sheep Farmer, 2019. 1 phone for the farm, the red one for home. Laptop on the passenger seat. The steering wheel, a precarious desk. A pen tapping impatiently across the slow flow of tasks achieved. And the dragging electronic irony of hold music. Na, 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 na. Na 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 Broadband at the farm, the stuff of dreams, woven through with intermittent bright flashes of an unreliable phone signal. At the forefront of modern farming, time spent in the fields is just a fraction of the job. A car and a well-loaded pickup pass, a wave and a hooted horn. Back to the lists.
Get a few more jobs done before the kids need picking up.
One list says,
School and family.
dog-eared and demanding, alongside the formal menace of
Farm admin.
and a third list that's simply
Farm.
PTA meeting,
TB testing.
ear tag filing,
Dentist times 3.
ingredients for pizza making,
New barn risk assessment.
stock movement planning sheets,
Get the shit book up to date.
paperwork for movement planning, high school application,
Trading standard triplicates. Stewardship maps.
NVZ record keeping, new shoes for both the girls,
Enter the dates for thistle cutting. Pay for PE kit.
photographs of wall repair, pay the bill for feed order, check the date for moving bales,
Sheep death log.
mechanics bill for fixing quad, certificate for herbicide, sleepover allergies,
Oh, birthday gift for Joe.
management plan for woodland,
Leader Plus application.
iron school shirts and trousers,
VAT return.
repeat prescriptions,
Food chain form for abattoir.
eBay seller posts,
Clipping cows and calves.
soil tests for stewardship,
Farm assurance compliance forms.
kids' mobile phone bills,
Banking cash for eggs.
field parcel stock numbers,
Extra feed for thin ewes.
clipping cows for auction,
Fluking sheep.
diversification planning forms, cow movement record sheets, tagging sheep for abattoir, paying checks at bank, and separate those bloody tots before they fucking kill each other. Oh my days.
So who would you ask about the source of your food? Or whether farm produce is really that good? You could go to the folk on the 29th floor, behind discreet logos on security doors, the ones in the suits with the PR degrees and profit share deals linked to consultancy fees, the ones with slick lines about protecting consumers, concealing the fact that their job is to screw us, the ones who know well that their pockets are deepest in the race to the bottom for title of cheapest. Are you saying it's them who'll give you it straight on the harsh economics behind the farm gate? Is there mud on their boots on the 29th floor? Do seasons mean anything to them anymore? Are they rolling their sleeves up, getting stuck in, moving the feed bells when grazing is thin? Do you see them there anxious at the lambing shed door on a cold winter morning at 20 to 4?
Or there in farm kitchens at the end of the day when the milk column numbers say, we gave it away. I know that their job is protecting their brand, but at what cost to farmers and landscape and land? It's plain we need change, immediate and drastic.
But it isn't the farmer who wraps food in plastic.
Yeah, let's think about this. We've created a food chain that can't be sustained.
And nutrition's the loser against corporate gains.
And with our high welfare standards, small farms can't compete.
When they're flooding the market with cheap foreign meat.
Then they baffle consumers with cryptic food marks.
Till where the food comes from is a shot in the dark.
And what kind of assessment will show that it pays?
To ship food in containers from oceans away.
It's successive governments who patently failed
Because they're all in the pockets of major retailers.
with policies geared towards big farm
That
producers.
small farmers see as one-sided and clueless.
And then there's the issue of wildlife and farming.
And a concerted campaign that's becoming alarming.
There's things they're proposing would take us all down.
And the irony is that they all live in town.
And they talk of rewilding, but where would that leave us?
I know the lakes, and there's no bloody beavers.
You know, we've become the target for an environment lobby that seems to consider that farming's our hobby.
Conservation versus farming doesn't have to be a fight. If we're prepared to accept, we can both have it right.
We're paid to look after the landscape we farm, and we're hit in the pocket if we do the land harm.
We're one part of a system that's here to protect the Cumbrian landscape that tourists expect. This system of farming's lasted 10 centuries or more, but a few years of daftness and it'll go to the wall.
Yeah, all that we're asking is that they hear our voices when they're weighing their scales and making their choices.
The future's uncertain. There are no guarantees. But if we don't stand together, we'll be on our knees.
Shoulder to shoulder, we can see out this storm. We're hefted to fells. We're Cumbrian born.
This
landscape's our birthright. We're the people who made it. So don't be surprised that we're fighting to save it.
We're not
rolling over. We're not going away. Our farms are our homes. And we're here to stay.